relationships are very important. You can't work without relationships. Orson Welles said it best. He said, a writer needs a pen, an artist needs a brush, but a filmmaker needs an army. And nothing could be more true than that.
Pull up a chair and listen in, because we're here, damn it. Hey, everybody. This is Georgia in Connecticut. I am your host, Georgia Reed, and today's guest is Steve Emirzian. Steve has worked in the industry for more than 25 years as an actor, writer, producer, and director. Now, at the end of 2019, Steve produced a sitcom conceptual pilot called The Big Shot, which is currently streaming on Amazon Prime and stars Bernadette Stanis, who was also Thelma from Good Times, and Chris Barnes from Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Steve's self-published memoir, Life at 24 Frames Per Second, chronicles his life in the entertainment industry and some of the comical ups and downs he dealt with along the way. As a former commissioner with the Hartford Film and Media Commission and now a board member of the Connecticut Film and Television Alliance, Steve is dedicated to supporting film and television production here in the Nutmeg State. Most recently, Steve executive produced and directed the upcoming documentary Hollywood to Hartford, Connecticut's Film Locations, which premieres this summer. Steve, welcome to the show.
Georgia, thank you so much for having me. I love this house.
Thank you.
This is the best podcast I've ever had.
The house loves you. I could tell. We feel the aura.
It's a nice vibe.
It has a good vibe. Whatever ghosts are here, because this house is 250 years old.
Wow.
They're very happy ghosts. So I think we're doing it right. So you are.
Beautiful.
Well, let's start with where in Connecticut and why in Connecticut. Now, you're in Collinsville, right?
Yeah, I'm a Connecticut boy. Most of my life. I did do 2 years in New York. I was in school for acting in New York in 83 to 85, Juilliard, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and then the School of Visual Arts.
Great pedigree. Okay.
Well, I didn't graduate. I attended.
Robin Williams didn't graduate either, so.
But it was a nice school. I was one of those people that had the audacity to audition and think that I was going to be good enough, and then I got scared later after the audition. I break out into the sweats.
Yes, yes.
It's like, well, if they can do it, why can't I?
Leap first and look later. Yes.
And so I was born in Hartford, and I grew up in Farmington, and then I stayed in Connecticut, various places. New Haven was one of my first apartments. I worked in theater down in Wallingford and at the Oakdale Musical Theater right out of high school, and just got into, theater and broadcasting, Connecticut School of Broadcasting right out of high school as well. But not so much to get jobs, but to get confidence. I was very shy in high school. So
really,
very, very, I was a wallflower. And then in my junior year, one of my teachers had a radio broadcasting course. He said, you should take it because you have a nice voice. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And he kept forcing me. He kept coming up.
I need your voice.
And then he said, you have to do the school announcements.
Wow.
I said, there's no way I'm doing that. And he talked me into it. And after a while, I kind of liked it, and I felt comfortable. And I thought, well, maybe broadcasting or acting or performing might be something that I might like to go into. So that's how it all started.
Do you feel, you've been here in Connecticut for a while, would you say Connecticut is a creator-friendly state?
It's a creator-friendly state. Sometimes the politics gets in the way a little bit. But Connecticut is known for so many great things. It's not just the tax incentives. It's also the relationships here that when I've worked in New York, and there's nothing against New York, but they're not as friendly there. The relationships aren't as real, and there's money involved.
Where do you like to go to network, or how do you like to network in Connecticut?
My mother always told me the best way to network is volunteer. First volunteer somewhere. And every time I volunteered, almost every time, I've gotten a job. Because you volunteer first, you show them that you're willing to do it for free. So obviously you can do it for money.
Yeah.
And that started when I was probably as a teenager.
Wow.
And I remember, like I said, the first job I had was at the Oakdale, and I was coming in from Farmington. And I remember at the interview, he said, where's Farmington? I said, oh, in the Hartford area. He goes, oh, forget it. You're not going to come all the way to Wallingford for $6 an hour. This is 1984. I said, sir, I'm a man of my word.
I love that.
And I will be there. I was never late. I always came in, and we would average 50 or 60 hours a week. And that's easy when you're in your 20s or whatever. And the money piled up because you didn't have time to go anywhere. You were just unloading from the truck, loading them back in. And
parents, put your children into PA work.
Right. PA work or roadie or what have you. So yes, volunteering your services definitely helps. Just say, hey, what can I do to help? And you'd be surprised at how many people will take to that.
Yeah.
Very much so. And then I always wanted to be a part of something, so I'd be in the theater. I would help them with their set construction or painting, not necessarily acting. It could be anything.
What's your favorite thing about Connecticut?
The diversity, not just the diversity in people, but the locations. You can go within 15 minutes from a beach scene to a desert scene to a quarry to a heavily wooded area with waterfalls, and it's a lot cheaper. I mean, we can do, the average sitcom, just talking about sitcoms, is $4 million an episode in Hollywood. We could do the same thing for 1/10 of that here in Hartford, and probably even cheaper than $400,000. But
And sitcoms are coming back.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about
Yeah.
that.
And I'm hoping to still sell my show down the line, but wouldn't it be great besides films if we could have a weekly show, whether it's a sitcom or whether it's a drama, that you have a regular paycheck every week
In Connecticut.
in Connecticut?
Well, now, if you sold, now you're talking about your comedy, The Big Shot, right?
Correct.
So now I want to touch on this. Did you shoot it all here?
We shot it all in Hartford, yeah.
Shot it all in Hartford.
It's based on my life working in the crazy local world of local news. And all the weird things that go on. I mean, stupid things like we couldn't go to the bathroom during I was a closed captioning specialist, which means I would talk, the words would come onto the screen of what they were saying, and they'd have a commercial break, and you'd have 2 minutes to go to the bathroom. Well, the bathroom was on the other side of the building.
Why is it always on the other side of the building?
That always like, I thought, what? I'm not
like
going to be able
they
to. So you're running, trying to get past the guests for a talk show, try to get them out of the way.
I wanted to talk to these architects. All right, it's a news show. We got to put the bathroom as far away as possible.
So you'd always be late coming back. And it'd be 30 seconds into the news, and whoops, filters like that. Or the anchors who would be like so nice on screen, but like 30 seconds before they go on, they were having some argument with somebody, and then they're bashing the wall.
You really were like that? Oh my God.
And so I thought, I started writing things down on a legal pad, and I thought this would be a good TV show. And the show is basically, the character has a friend who gets a Hollywood production to come to Hollywood. I mean, a Hollywood production to come to Hartford. And he wants him to be the showrunner.
Oh.
And so all the people that weren't talking to him because he was a lowly, closed captioner, now want to be his best friend.
Now they're
because the show is going to be in the very building that they're doing the news.
Well.
So it's kind of like the show within a show format, kind of a thing. And it's a conceptual pilot because we didn't have enough money to shoot it properly.
Who knows?
We had $15,000, and we did a lot with $15,000.
You did a lot with $15,000. It looks great.
Oh, thank you. And but if we had like 100,000, I think it would be so much.
Sure, of course.
But again, 100,000 is 1/25 of what they would cost Hollywood.
How did you go about getting it distributed on Amazon Prime?
That was my good friend Joe Young. He's a producer friend of mine. We've Joe Young. He's done so much. Right now, he's working with Kemet, the Time Traveler, one of his books, comic books, and trying to turn that into a series as well. He's just so busy all the time. He's done films in the past. Diamond Rough was his first film.
Yes, I've heard about Diamond Rough.
That was like $1 million production that he shot it in Hartford.
Amazing.
With big stars. And so Joe called me one day because he heard that I was thinking of doing this the sitcom pilot, and he offered to help out, and he helped all the way through. Got people to help on the crew. The average crew on a sitcom is about 35 to 50 people. We only had 12.
Wow.
And with 12, we shot the pilot in less time than the average 6 days.
That's incredible.
So that's a testament to the crew.
My gosh.
They were right on top of things.
Where did you go for your equipment and cameras?
A gentleman by the name of J. Stan McCauley out of Hartford. He was one of our mentors. He was in the cable access world for the last 30 years. He was running for mayor of the city of Hartford. Oh. And I said, well, we're not going to get him. And he's a great cinematographer. And we're not going to get him at all. He says, I will do this with you, but just know that I have to leave at about 3:30 to go do my mayoral.
To be mayorally.
Yeah. And the thing I always say is whether you're winning or you lose the race, you still have to put the same amount of energy into it. So he was great to do that for us. And we got him out of there at 3:30 or 3:25 or whenever he needed to go. And it was the efficiency of all of us working together and saying, okay, this is what we do. We'd shoot 6 pages in a day, sometimes 8 pages in a day.
Yeah.
And we just got it done.
That's amazing. So it sounds like, again, it's all about relationships.
Relationships are very important. You can't work without relationships at all.
You can try. It's really hard.
Yeah. Orson Welles said it best. He said a writer needs a pen, an artist needs a brush, but a filmmaker needs an army. And nothing could be more true than that.
That's a great
you cannot make a movie by yourself. I know some people have, but they look like it.
Right.
And you need not just an army, but you need a group of people who are as passionate about it as you are.
Yeah.
And really are going to give it 110%, because why bother otherwise?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Listen, you know what? I think this is a good time to take a break. Sure. We'll be back right after this with more with Steve Emirzian. This is the part of the show where we would normally be featuring one of our sponsors. We don't yet have a sponsor, but if you decide you would like to be a sponsor of this show, this is where we would be sponsor, 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 sponsor. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor for Georgia in Connecticut, do reach out to us. The link is below in the show notes or description box. We are back with Steve Emirzian. So, Steve, this is the part where I like to ask, what do you do and what are you working on now?
Well, I'm a writer, producer, actor, director, jack of all trades. I love it all. I've been working on many different projects. I just recently became a board member with the Connecticut Film Alliance, Film and TV Alliance.
Yes, the Connecticut Film and TV Alliance. You're going to hear a lot about this on the podcast because it is a great resource.
And I've been in a lot of arts organizations over the years. I started with the Connecticut Film Office back in the 80s, helping to bring in other productions. We helped to bring in Judging Amy. It was a television series.
I love Judging Amy.
And my sister was hired as her stand-in when I came to Hartford. We wanted them to come to Hartford to shoot the show because it takes place at Hartford, but they never did. So we kept begging them, and eventually they did second unit. They brought a second unit crew out,
Sure.
which is, for those who don't know, second unit is when they shoot the scenes, the buildings, Mark Twain House, State Capitol, just to give it that feeling of realism that it really is in Hartford. And once they did that, it was much more interesting to watch the show. Oh, I know that building.
It gives a sense of realness to it. Yeah.
So I was a PA at the time, and I was a liaison for them to bring them around. And as I said, my sister was hired to be her stand-in, so she would get into the car, the Volvo, whatever it was that Amy Brenneman drove out there.
Brenneman. Her work is so good.
She is
You're
great.
so good, Amy.
I love her too. And then so this was back in the days before the drones. So you'd have to you'd have to hire a helicopter.
Yes.
With a cameraman.
Yes.
In the helicopter to follow the car or get those shots. So it was really quite thrilling to watch, and so that was a lot of fun. And then over the years, I just helped out with other arts organizations and the Warner Theater in Torrington. I was on their marketing committee. Great. We actually shot them from the documentary. And then more recently, we were appointed by the mayor's office about 5 years ago, the mayor of Hartford, to be in the Hartford Film Commission. And we were helping to bring in production.
You say we. Who is the we? Who's the we?
Joe Young again, a good friend, Joe Young, and a handful of others. J. Stan McCauley was one of them. And we were commissioners. And so again, as liaisons, when a show would come in, like Sigourney Weaver would come in with Call Jane, or more recently, it was a boxing film called The Featherweight.
Oh, yes.
Which came in with a lot of Hollywood heavyweights, and it was a multi-million-dollar production. So we worked with them.
So commissioner is a liaison.
Just like a liaison. We had no real power. We don't get paid for it.
But you know a guy. You know.
We know the mayor.
You know where you know where to find things, or what if they need location or what.
Exactly. They need permits, and they need certain things. I once helped a guy get an ice cream truck, period piece. Well, Featherweight was a good example because it was set in 1965. So it's one thing to get a building from that period, but to get the props and the costumes took a little doing. But we did get them, and we even got his authentic boxing gloves from the real Pep.
Where'd you put them in? You couldn't. I mean, were they? I mean, I'm sure they were delicate. Did the guy get to put them on?
I think he put them on. Yeah. And
don't sweat in them.
James Matteo, who played Pep, you know him from Band of Brothers and a few other things. But he was the spitting image. He became Pep.
Ah, that's amazing.
So yeah. And it was that was one of the more recent ones, and we were a part of that as well. And then most recently, the Connecticut Film Alliance came into being, and they're acting as a liaison and trying. We have over 700 members now.
That's great.
And we're trying to get it more and more.
Yep. It's free to join, by the way.
It's free to join. And if you want to know what's happening in Connecticut in the film industry, that's the place you have to go.
It's the go-to place.
It's the go-to place. And I love everybody that's a part of it. They jumped right on board to help me out with my project without even a second thought of it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
So
because it helps everybody.
It does.
Yeah. Helps everybody grow. Well, I want to know, you've talked a little bit about starting out as an actor. I know you've also worked in journalism in newspapers and magazines. Were you doing both those things at the same time?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
How did you juggle that?
Well, writing comes easily to me. I don't really get like writer's block and things like that, especially if it's something that you love doing. Like if I had to do a local politician.
You don't get writer's block.
Not really, and nothing for long periods.
That's great.
I've never really experienced that because I just, in my mind, before I start writing, my way of writing is, let's say I'm writing a script, legal pad, start jotting down ideas, chronologies,
Stream of consciousness kind of thing.
what's happening in the beginning, middle, and end, and then just filling it in from there. Then I jump on the computer and start writing. It's like, okay, I like that first paragraph. I'm going to go with there. And then the characters themselves just become real to me. Otherwise, if they're not real to me, it's not worth doing. I want them to be, I want them to be real. I want them to be something that
You got to hang out with these people for a while.
And I want to enjoy watching what I'm creating. Even if I'm not the one directing it, if I write it and somebody else directs it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just love the idea of these characters. And I try to make them as rich as I can with the backstories and all that. And so that's with scripts. But I was also interested in doing writing about entertainment. And so I would call newspapers and I would say, can I do a review of a TV series, or can I do an actor that I know lives in Connecticut and there's a Connecticut connection. And then I started doing that, and that became a weekly series called Center Stage with Steve Emirzian.
I love that.
And it wouldn't just be about film; it would sometimes be theater and all that. And it just kind of worked from there. And I went to several newspapers and weekly newspapers, and then it became a podcast that didn't last very long, but it became a podcast that I enjoyed doing. I just couldn't do it by myself. I was like, setting the camera up, jumping in front, and trying to do all the engineering.
It's a lot. I did a little snooping on IMDb, and I am going to ask you, I noticed that in a particular film called Being Michael Madsen, you were credited as playing Madsen's lover. Do tell, how, as an actor, did you prepare for this? And what was the most rewarding thing about being Michael Madsen's lover?
Gay lover. Yes.
Well, that's implied.
Well, that's how I'm credited.
Oh, I like that. In case you were wondering.
I never met Michael Madsen in person. We did 2 films. One was called Donnie Brasco.
Oh, you worked on Donnie Brasco.
I was, again, just a background extra. And I was in the deleted scenes when it's on television. You can see me, but you can't see me in the film. But Michael Madsen was in a couple of the scenes, but we never met or talked or anything like that.
So wait a minute, you never got to make out with Michael? I was so looking forward I wanted a smooch scene here.
My friend Michael Maggiolo was a filmmaker for many years, did some great films, low budget films here, and he's just not into it anymore. He's not into filmmaking, but he did some great work. And one of the things he was doing was it was called Being Michael Madsen, which was a mockumentary about life with the paparazzi and how far it goes and all this. So he said to me one day, he says, "Would you like to be in this? A very small part." He goes, "You're not going to be in it in a video. We're going to Photoshop you into a National Enquirer where you're with Michael Madsen with your arm around him, and we're going to make all sorts of rumors about Michael Madsen." And the story goes, and I didn't meet him again on this film either, but the story goes that when Michael saw the picture, he just started cracking up. Because I was the most unattractive lover.
I love it.
They put me like in a Hawaiian shirt and a cowboy hat, as I recall. And
well, they say love is blind,
yeah.
Steve. Come on.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it was nice to hear that he had a good laugh over that. And that's what we're here for, right?
That's fantastic. Wait, so did they green screen you in?
No, what they did was they're trying to spread rumors about the
No, but I'm talking behind the scenes. What was it like on set for you?
Oh, they just took a picture of me.
They just took a
photo. They just took a photo of me, and then we go home.
What an easy day for you.
It was like 20 minutes. I was done.
Beautiful.
And they had me doing this, and
That's it.
and then they picked whatever one they wanted. And when it all came together, I was believing it.
You're like, what happened? Where was I that night?
But that was a lot of fun. But you had to go looking for that one because that's
my job. Okay, well, tell me this. I'm thinking about the future of Connecticut and film and TV production here, because I've heard you say that, especially with this documentary, and we're going to talk about this, you want people to understand that Connecticut is a go-to place. You want more production companies to come here and make stuff. So what needs to change in Connecticut to make that happen?
Well, the local government has to change. They have to believe in the project. And Connecticut's had its ups and downs. We've had movies that have been filmed here since the silent era. Okay, Way Down East was shot on the Farmington River in 1918, and so I didn't even know that. And I grew up in the town, and so when you actually find out how many films have been shot here over the decades, Strangers on a Train.
Oh my gosh, it was done here?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
so many Stepford Wives, both the new
I
and the old one.
love the
The
original
original.
Stepford Wives.
Yeah.
And I was an extra on the new Stepford Wives.
Okay.
Way back.
So was my sister. Yep.
Yep. Way back.
And then more recently, War of the Worlds, and the Indiana Jones, the last Indiana Jones film was shot in Essex. But over the decades, I mean, there's just been so many films that a lot of people don't know about. And so obviously Hollywood has come a calling to Connecticut because they like it for some reason, not just in terms of saving money, but also because of the vast locations that you can use. And so I thought, Connecticut has had its ups and downs. Like I said, in the early 2000s, we had Judging Amy coming in. It was a very well-known show back in the late 90s and the early 2000s. But since then, it's kind of reached a lull, goes through some lulls. And I want to see more of a consistency of films coming in, at least a dozen a year, if not two.
Yeah.
Along with some films, some TV series.
Yeah.
And whatever, everything in between.
Well, what can we do? I mean, as for my audience here, is there anything that we can do in our, as community members to help this?
You can contact your local governments and just ask them to relook at the tax incentives, make it easier, not just in Hartford, but make it easier to get a permit, for example, or to make a phone call. See, in the old days, you'd be able to have somebody pick up a phone at these offices, but nobody's in the offices anymore. We need to get back to that, because when I travel the world, I'm in the UK or whatever, I see that they still have offices, and you can walk right in the door and talk to them and pick up the phone, talk to a human being. Very important.
Yes.
And we're missing that. And if we don't go back to that, I think it's going to be a problem.
It's funny you said that, Steve. I went online looking just to see, what is it like to get a permit in Connecticut? And the only thing I saw was, if you want to shoot on a highway, you need a permit.
Right.
Otherwise, do you need a permit to do anything here?
Officially, yes. I mean, you can't just shut down streets. I mean,
So if you're a big production,
Right.
but if you're independent,
it
doesn't
it's
seem
guerrilla.
like anyone
It's
cares.
guerrilla. They just go out and do
If
it.
you're an indie
Yeah.
filmmaker,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, come to Connecticut while you can.
But I think, and I don't mean, I'm not going to mention any politicians, but the local politicians don't mind coming to the red carpets and the fun and the galas, and that's fine. But there's also the work to be done.
Yes.
Is have somebody that can answer a phone that says, when somebody calls from Hollywood or New York and says, hey, I'm thinking of shooting here.
You need to be answering. Well, if you want more red carpets and galas, and if you want to meet
Right.
Joaquin Phoenix, and you want to schmooze, guess what?
But that's where the Connecticut Film and TV Alliance comes in. They are the ones going out with locations and taking people around. People like Ed Cohen and Bob Dio, and these guys they're old school.
Yeah.
They're old school, and they know how to pick up a phone.
Yes.
They're not afraid, to pick up the phone.
Cold call.
No texting or emailing for them,
Yes.
unless it's a last resort. And but again, we have to get back to these politicians have to understand that it's not just the fun and games of the red carpets and schmoozing. It's also the work of having somebody hiring, a part-timer,
Yes.
or getting a volunteer, but probably better to hire somebody to just literally answer phones and return emails. Yeah. We need that. And I tried to get that with the Hartford Film Commission. They never came up with any monies, but we need somebody we need a dedicated space that people can come in, that they can see the posters on the wall of all the productions that we've done.
Which would be so inspiring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brick and mortar, they say it's not important. I say it absolutely is
It's
important.
very important. Hollywood to Hartford. What inspired you to do this documentary? You've obviously been here a long time. You seem like the obvious choice to create a film like this. But I want to know, why now? Why did you decide to do this?
I think it was the lull we talked about earlier. The Connecticut went through lulls, the highs and lows, and sometimes some years incredible amounts of productions, and some not so many. And I didn't like that inconsistency. And about 7 months ago, I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a calling card in the form of a documentary that we could make a passion project, literally no money, no budget whatsoever. And how do I do that? And I first brought it to the commission, to the Alliance, and they loved it.
Of course.
I got a call that night from Ed Cohen saying, this is what a great idea. So that made me happy that they were all on board. And then Bob, who happens to work at Connecticut School of Broadcasting, said, let me talk to Jim Robinson. Jim Robinson's the president of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Okay, great.
It's been around since 1964, great school. And on top of things, it's not just for radio broadcasting anymore. Now they have a film workshop.
That's fantastic. Have you taught there?
I have not taught there. I was a student there many years ago.
That's right. Thank you.
And so I met with Jim, and he was just so open to the idea of bringing in some of the CSB students to help out. and he's been very helpful, incredibly helpful. And so he's been helping me edit this production. So they came on board as executive producers as well as entities, and we've just he gave us 1 week at the school. So we shot, I think, 27 interviews. Looking back now, I think I did too many. I think if I had to do it,
many than too few.
I think I should do it a dozen and stop at a dozen. But we got a lot of people into this, and it was not just filmmakers. It was actors. It was the caterers. It was costumers. So getting it from their point of view
Yes.
of why they love Connecticut and why they believe Connecticut is the best place to shoot.
That's amazing.
And so Hollywood to Hartford, the full name, Hollywood to Hartford, Connecticut's filming locations.
Yes.
But that's too long. So we just called it Hollywood to Hartford.
I like that. You got your tagline. So 27 interviews. How did you find your subjects?
Well, I made a list before we even started shooting of people that I thought were interesting.
Yes.
Some of them, most of them could do it, and some of them couldn't for various reasons. They were, doing productions of their own. Some of them did them and sent them into us. But for the most part, that week we got 3 or 4 or 5 interviews per day. Yeah. And I tried to keep them to 15 or 20 minutes. It's all in the pre-production. I'm one of those guys that has to plan everything out so that when we get there, there's a plan B and a plan C. If somebody doesn't show up,
yes,
or if they're late, boom, get them right in.
Yes, next.
So people forget that efficiency and time management is a talent. That is a balancing act. Is taking that extra half hour worth doing? Is it really going to be worth making it better? Or should you? And it is.
Or is it going to meander?
But
it depends on,
right?
Right. But 9 times out of 10, you're really going to get the best stuff right there up front.
Well, you know that because as an actor, I've often said, if you do 3 takes, that's enough. 4 takes maximum. So I consider myself very efficient. Time management is very important. I've never been late to a job ever.
Ever? You can say never?
Ever.
That's incredible.
Because it's the OCD in me. It's like, you're in this business, you've got to show up.
Yeah.
Well, I've worked in news, so the news is going to go on at 5 o'clock, whether I'm there or not.
That's exactly right.
And my boss is going to know whether I was there or not, or there's a deadline to the newspaper.
Yes.
My editor doesn't care if I do all 8 of them the night before or along the way. He just wants to know that when that deadline hits, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's always been that way for me.
I'm assuming you used a lot of found footage on this documentary. Like when you're talking about the films, did you get stock footage? Did you take cuts from movies? How did you work with that for the documentary?
The found footage, really the only found footage was going online and getting the posters of the movies that were shot here.
Okay, and that's legal. I'm asking because if anyone wants to make a documentary, kind of what are all the...
It's legal, and most of the people that I interviewed were the ones that had the movie posters.
So you've got the rights then. That's great.
But you can put like a Way Down East from 1918. Yeah. It's just a movie poster. Yeah. It's not a scene from the film.
No one's going to be coming for it.
Right. Hopefully not. And if they do, they don't get anything. But, to get back to your point, I did most of the footage myself. I would go out to Essex and shoot video of the town.
That on location.
On location.
That's great. What a great...
Like I was there on my birthday and I was just getting shots of a little town. I got some beach footage and Collinsville when we talk about small towns, it's a very small town. And so I got some footage of that on my own. So I try to get as much as I can legally that's mine, that I get. And some people send some in. We're going to get some drone footage. For us. Yeah, so the editing's up to about an hour now. I want to keep it around an hour long, a little over an hour. And Jim Robinson's been great with all the special effects that he's just starting to put in, and he's got a lot of things from CSB. Or when the broadcasting school first started, I said, "Give me some of those old black and white footage." Yes. He has a shot of his dad with the Beatles.
Oh, I love
and the Stones.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice when we put that B-roll in.
And what were you aiming for? Did you want this? Do you see this on PBS? Do you want it on? You said you want it to be a calling card.
Yeah, this is going to be, thanks to Joe Young. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. It's going to be on probably Tubi TV and some of the other streaming services.
Tubi. Yes.
That's where all the best documentaries are.
Thank you.
That's true. And so we're looking. Right now it's June. We should be finished in the next month or so. Yeah. But just to make it safe, we'll say late August. It's
wonderful.
It'll be streaming probably sooner, but hopefully. And I don't know if we're going to premiere it anywhere first. It's been suggested, possibly the Bushnell.
The Bushnell's lovely.
Yeah. And so we'll see if it. But whether it premieres anywhere or not, I'm just happy to have it streaming where everyone can see it.
Yes.
And again, as a calling card, if we can get 2, 3, 4 people who are on the fence about shooting in Connecticut to actually come here, that'll make it all worth it.
It's funny. It's always show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. Exactly.
Once this is completed, are you taking a break or are you already jumping into something else?
I'd like to. I have a project that's on the QT right now, but I have two other movies that I'd like to, and one television series. One is called Operation Guardian Angels, which is a band of brothers meets the X-Files. It takes place during World War II, shot in Connecticut, but it'll be a weekly series where the last survivor of a platoon, a U.S. platoon, is telling his story about the odd things that have happened, because there were a lot of weird things that happened during World War II.
There's a lot of ghosts in Connecticut.
And so it's like, I think it could be a very good series, bookended in present time. You start in the present, you end in the present, but in between it's 1943, and you get to see them all and all the weird things that have gone on with.
So you're shooting in Connecticut, but it's taking place in Europe during World War II?
Correct. And because we can make it look like Europe and all that. And it can be done relatively. I want to shoot a pilot, but I see this as a really successful TV series that could go 2 or 3 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
And another one is called City Limits, about a gentleman named Marcus Greer who, during COVID, robs a bank, gets sent up for it to jail, and he hides the money. And when he comes out of jail, the bodega that he put the money in went under, like a lot of businesses in Connecticut, and became a police substation. So now he's got to figure out a way to get in and get the money.
Well, wait a minute. So he robs a bank during COVID because the bank was empty?
He robs a bank just prior to COVID, and he goes to jail.
Oh,
And
God.
he goes many years. He's in jail, 4, 5, 6 years, and then when he gets out,
Now the
to go get
bodega is
no longer in business.
it's a now
police
police station. So now he's got to break in again.
Correct.
Oh, I don't like that.
And so there's the Armenian mob. There's the all sorts of things. It's like a really nice action
And
adventure.
a bit with a dog, I hope.
We could throw a dog in there, but again, it's in Hartford. At a
Right.
big price. So I want to see if we can get some budgets, and the budgets don't have to be in the millions of dollars. They can be hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And still get what you want to do.
Oh, wow. These are exciting projects,
Yeah.
Steve. Well, on that note, let's take another break because right now it's time for your Daily Constitution. Born in Ansonia, Connecticut, this American drag performer is best known for performing on the 15th season of the TV series RuPaul's Drag Race. Her original song, Let Loose, has gone viral and received a remix featuring fellow drag artists Jan Sport and Lemon. Who is she? If you know the answer, click on the link below in the show notes or the description box and leave a comment with your best guess. If you guess correctly, we'll give you a shout out on one of our future episodes. And that was your Daily Constitutional. And we are back here with Steve. Part 3 is what I like to call full of surprises because one of our state's many mottos is Connecticut, full of surprises. And let's see what surprises we can uncover today about Steve. So Steve, tell me, what is your favorite word?
I'd say verisimilitude,
Verisimilitude.
the truth.
Oh.
And in film, it's like if you're playing a character, for example, a sheriff, you have the family in the background too to make it look like you're a family man and all this stuff. You know, anything that would add to the realism of the scene, of the character, or what have you. So I'm a firm believer in film verisimilitude.
What is your least favorite word?
Moist, I would say. It's just one of those words like, really?
And any pants with the word moist on the
Yeah.
back. That's
No.
that's not a selling point for
Juicy.
me. Juicy. Hey, to each their own. But I tell me, Steve, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Other people that are creative, just meeting other people like yourself, and just, you and I could talk for hours, even if there was no camera, and I said this to the costumer at the Warner. I said, I could talk to you for 3 hours and then there are some people that, what we call the ordinaries, who are not in the arts. And it's an acting job just to get through the day with them and talking about the weather and nothing against that. It's just like, I want to hang around with artistic types. I feel more comfortable.
What turns you off?
People that are fake, people that are habitually late, people that don't have passion. If you hang out with people that are doers, go-getters, you have that energy, right? If you hang out with people who regularly are not doing anything and just, go with the flow, you can start to get lethargic yourself.
It's like a quicksand.
The scientists will say constant exposure to any source must result in a certain degree of contamination. If you stand next to a nuclear stockpile, you become irradiated. Well, in the same case, the people you hang out with,
You are who your friends are.
right, you are who your friends are. And I'm not saying hanging out with somebody for a couple of hours, but if they're normally like that for week after week, you'll start to become lethargic. And I find myself doing that too. And I thought I should be doing something. Like, I'm the kind of person like,
Yes.
If I rest too long, I should be doing something.
Yes.
I need to be doing more, something creative, whether it's writing or whether it's going out and taking a photo, just the sunset.
Yes.
Just something creative.
Something.
But you have to live with passion. Fortune favors the bold. That's one of my favorite lines. And, don't do anything half-ass.
If
Go
you're
all the
gonna
way
do it,
and don't
do
do
it.
it at all.
Yes.
And I throw myself into the work. And not just my work. I'll help you with your project if you want me to.
I think, again, it's all about collaboration.
Mhm.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes, you are. And I do.
And I've been saying it a lot lately.
No, it's a good thing. Tell me this. What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, the sound of summer, the river, crickets, that kind of a thing.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Anything loud, construction.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
That's a good question. Maybe the trades, plumber.
What profession would you definitely not like to attempt?
Anything with sales.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
We were expecting you.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
I don't think I'll get there, but hopefully someday.
Someday. If my audience wants to get in touch with you, Steve, what's the best way to get in touch? Where can we find you?
I don't want anybody finding me.
Okay, you're unfindable.
No, Steve Emirzian at gmail.com is a way to get a hold of me. Or my cell phone is 860-559-1337. I don't mind that.
We'll put it all in the show notes.
Sure.
You'll have all kinds of new friends.
That's all right. I can weed them out,
I love it.
There's no website per se. I have the Facebook site. I just put it on today. Hollywood to Hartford has its own Facebook page as of today.
Oh, wonderful. We'll put that on
So
the
if
show
they
notes.
want to learn more about that, we'll right now I'm making the rounds doing podcast and radio interviews.
Thank you so much for coming and taking the time
Thank you.
to meet with us. Everyone stay tuned for Hollywood to Hartford. This has been another episode of Georgia in Connecticut. I am your host, Georgia Reed. And to all the artists in the great Nutmeg State, keep creating and keep connecting because
We're here, damn it.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really enjoyed the show, leave us a review. It helps us out a lot. Until next time.